Hello, this is Muhammad. Today I would like to demonstrate the virtual network gateway. So for that reason, I need some resources. I need to show you one image at first. So we implement this diagram to demonstrate virtual network gateway in Azure. So for this demonstration, we need a resource group. I named it as a Hi. As I informed you before that I'm going to create some resources. So I have done some work. If I go to the all resources, I can demonstrate what I have done so far. At first, I create a resource group. Maybe I'll go back home. Resource groups. Here I create one resource group named RG4 VNG. Then I create two virtual networks, that is VNet 1 and VNet 2, which belongs to Sweden Central region. And VNet 1, if I go inside the VNet 1, I can see there is some information about this network. This IP is 10.0.0.0/16. It according to the image. If I go back to the subnets, I can show you that there are two subnets, subnet 1 and subnet 2. Also following the image, this is subnet 1 and subnet 2. And if I go back to the virtual network, I can jump on the virtual network 2, VNet 2. Also the IP with 172.16.0.0/16. This is also following the picture of VNet 2. And if I go back, I can show you this, the subnet of this VNet 2. This name's subnet 3 with IP 172.16.1.0/24 is following this picture. That subnet 3 172.16.1.0/24. Now, if I go back to the home, I have created some virtual machines. I have created 4 virtual machines, and if I click on VM1, I can show you the public IP and private IP. According to this if diagram, this VM1 belongs to subnet 1 of VNet 1. We go down. If I open the VM2, this is also belongs to VNet 1, subnet 1, and it has a public IP and private IP. Its private IP is 10.0.1.5, which follows the diagram here. Now, if I go back to the virtual machines and open VM3, I can start it because I stop it for some reason. I start again, VM3, it will start anyway. There's a public IP and private IP also here. Its private IP is 10.0.2.4, which also following this picture. And if I go down again, and it shows that it belongs to VNet 1, subnet 2. And if I go back and show the VM4, which belongs to VNet 2, subnet 3. It has a public IP and a private IP. Its private IP is 172.16.1.4. So this part, this 4 virtual machine to VNet 3 subnet is ready to go. Now I will create another virtual network. Now I'm going to create another virtual network, but before creating this virtual network, I give you a small update. There was typing mistake on the IP address of VM5 and subnet 4. The subnet 4 IP address on the virtual network should be 192.168.1.0/24, and VM5 IP address should be 192.168.1.4/24. So now I'm going back to the portal and create this VNet with this on UK South region. So our VNet should be 192.168.0.0/2416, that is an IPv4 address. So create a virtual network. Give it a first select this resource group, and our virtual network name is VNet 3, and it should be on UK South region. An IP address, I delete this default IP address of this network, and now I put 192.168.0.0/16. This is according to the image. Okay, and I add a subnet. I give a subnet. This subnet name is subnet number 4. Subnet number 4, and its IP address should be like this: 192.168.1.0/24. So I give it 192.168.1.0/24 and click on the add. Now subnet 4 has been added. Now I click review and create. The virtual network named VNet 3 is on the way. Its validation has been passed. Now I create this one. So it might take a few minutes to create this virtual network on different region other than Sweden Central. Now it's creating this virtual network in a new region that's named UK South. Look, this development is ongoing and development has been done. Go to the resources. I can show you some information of this VNet. This address space is 192.168.0.0/16. If I go back to subnet, it shows that it has a subnet named subnet 4. And if I click on there, it also demonstrates this IP address named 192.168.1.0/24. And I save it just in case. So I go back home. Now I create a virtual machine inside this subnet. Click virtual machine, then click create from an existing image. Resource group should be this one, and virtual machine's name is VM 5. It should be in the UK South region, and it should use this Windows Server 19 Data Center Edition. And I give a username and password, VM5 user, and I give a complex password. And click on the next disk. Leave as it is. Networking. Here I have to choose which net. It is VNet 3 and subnet 4. And now I click on the next. Management, I am not doing anything. Monitoring, I just put diagnostics disable, make sure that's no, because we don't have any storage account. And then advance, and then create and review. This validation process will run here. The validation has been passed. Now I create this virtual machine 4. So it will take 1 or 2 minutes to create this virtual machine. I'm not going to pause this here. So development is in progress. When this virtual machine creation has been done, then well, it is on the way. I'm not doing anything right now. So when it's done, I'll create a virtual network gateway. So I'm going to use some free network, which is not used in any subnet of any VNet for this virtual network gateway. So I think you get the idea how I create this other 2 VNet and subnets and VMs in Sweden Central region. So if someone missed the other videos, so they can get the idea of this whole process. So this development is complete. So I go to the resources of VM5, and there is an IP, public IP, and it shows this virtual machine network subnet is VNet 3 and subnet 4, which belongs to UK South region, and private IP is 192.168.1.4 of this virtual machine. If we get this error message, we can try to connect and run this diagnostics process. Most of the time, if we go back home and go for virtual machine and VM5, it will disappear very shortly, this error message. So now I go back home and create this virtual network gateway. So I create a virtual network gateway for subnet 1 at first, VNet 1. So from here, you can get it, virtual network gateway. If you don't get it here, we can search it from here. So anyway, we get from here and then click create. And virtual network gateway, I give a name of this network. Gateway is VNG1. Following this image, I'm going to create this VNG1. And it's on the Sweden Central region. I leave the gateway type VPN. express route is out of our scope right now. So we use VPN and VPN type road based. We'll discuss policy based VPN type later on. And SQL leave as it is, generation leave as it is, virtual network. From VNet 1, and it asks for an IP that is, which is not used for any subnet. I give it like 10.0.3.0/24 as an IP, and there is no public IP has been created for here for this virtual network gateway. So if I have anything before reserved IP, I can use that, but I don't have any, so I create a new one. I give a name like VNG 1 IP, and I leave this availability zone redundant. So it will pick up the zone as per wish. So if there is 3 data center in this zone, so it will be automatically have a backup in all the data centers. And second, public IP address. And active to active mode, I make it disable. And then this BGP also be disable. And then next tag, I'm not doing anything here. Review to create. Validation has been passed. I give a consent to create this one. It might take around 20 to 25 minutes to create this VNG. So in the meanwhile, I'm going to create another VNG with another instance of a portal. I'm going to create a VNG for VNet 3, and the VNG name should be VNG 3. So I go back and click virtual network gateway, and then click create. Now it's a subscription type, and now I give it a name of this VNG, VNG3, and this VNG should be in UK South region, because our VNet 3 is on UK South region. And gateway VPN type VPN type is route based, SKU and generation leave as it is, virtual network. I choose VNet 3 and give a IP address, give an IP address of this VNG. I pick up 192.168.3.0/24. And I pick up I wish to create a new IP address for the public IP, for this public IP address for VNG3. Now I like to give a name, VNG3 _ pub IP. And availability zone, as like before, zone redundant, active mode disable, so BGP also disable. And next tag, and then validation process, and validation has been passed, and then create. So if I go back to the previous VNG development screen, I can see from the notification that it's running around 2 minutes, so it takes around 18 to 20 minutes more. And if I go back for this new one, and if I go here, it shows that it's running few seconds before. So we'll wait a few minutes and come back after creating these VNGs. Our VNGs are ready to go. When it's done, you can see this or it's ready for deployment. If you go to the resources, and we can see that this is the name of this VNG, which belongs to this belongs to which group and which subscription and which virtual network, and it's a public IP, and it's a VPN gateway and some other information. Now, if I go back to home, this is VNG1. If I go back to home, and then I can go see all resources, I can see the other one, other VNG, which was maybe I forget the name of that one. Anyway, I go back home and go to the virtual network gateway, and if I go VNG3, I can see this overview of this other one, the virtual network gateway number 3. Yes, from web portal, we can see that VNG1 and VNG3 is ready to go, and we start communicating with these two VNGs. So if I show you the picture again, then you can see that in VNG1, there's it belongs to subnet VNet 1, and there are two other subnets, subnet 1 and subnet 2. It's also coexist with this on this VNet, and VNet 3 have only one subnet, and VNG3 also coexist with this on this VNet 3. So let's go inside that portal again. Just minimize this picture, and if I go back home, let's check the situation of the virtual machine at first, because I intentionally shut down a couple of the virtual machine. I need that VM1 and VM2 right now. Turn it on, and I need a VM5. I need this one, and I started these virtual machines, and you can see this notification. This is going to be started very shortly. Okay, so go back home of this portal again and go back to the VM1 information overview, and then copy this public IP address, and then go for remote desktop connection, and paste this one and connect, and it will ask for the username and password. The username was VM1 user, and you give the password, the complex password, which I have given while I create this virtual machine, and trust the certificate. When it's ready, you can see the blue screen of this virtual machine, which is running on Sweden Central Region, and it'll come. This is for the first time I connect with this remote desktop connection on this virtual machine. You can see that blue screen has been come up on this side, and I'm just waiting for the network discovery information related message, which will pop up here very shortly, and I have to accept that, saying yes. Now this message, I was waiting for this one. I accept this one, yes, and Now I go down and looking for the command prompt of this virtual machine by typing cmd. It will show the command prompt options. I open the command prompt at first, and I would like to see the host of this virtual machine to make sure that I'm logging on the right machine. Now you can see that we have VM1. So it's over here that we are in VM1. If we see the config, IP config, we can see this other configuration, and we can see this private IP address that is 1.10.0.1.4. Now I keep this one as it is, and I go back and open the virtual machine number 2. Do the same process, and copy this IP, public IP, and make another session with remote desktop connection, and paste this one and connect, and asking for the username and password of VM2. Okay, disconnected, and say yes. And this is also running for the first time. That's why it will take a little longer to boot for the first time. And we'll see the blue screen very shortly for this VM2 on subnet 1 of VNet 1. So it is coming up. And waiting for that message again, which is discoverable message. Just it will come up very shortly. Yes. Do you want to allow your PC to be discoverable by other PC and devices on this network? You say yes. Now I go back. Again, the same thing. Going to the command prompt. CMD. We'll show up the command prompt related things again. Select this one. It is running in the side, this side, and we can see there's just minimized a little bit. If I write host name, it will show it's an VM2. So if I write IP config, I can see that this is really VM2 with IPv4 address that is 10.0.1.5. Now I go to VM5. And again, this I copy this public IP and another session with remote desktop connection. I go there, press this IP and try to connect and ask for the username and password, VM5 user, and this complex password again. And then connect and trust the certificate, and it will show up here. So I put it on this side and a little bit, yeah, like that. Now the blue screen also comes up again here for this machine. So at the moment, our 3 machines are running. That is VM1, VM2, and VM5, and also 2 VNG is also running at, that is VNG1 and VNG3. The message, I'm waiting for the message from this computer for network discovery. So it'll come up here very shortly. Yes. And again, I go back, and for this one also the same process. I go to the command prompt with cmd and run this command prompt. Okay, I open to close one and leave one open, and a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. And if I run the same type of command like hostname, it will show that this is VM5. This is VM5. If I run the ipconfig, it again shows the IP address, and that is 192.168.1.4. So 3 machines are running. 2 VNG is already allocated for this virtual network. Now I establish a connection in between these 2 VNG. For that reason, I go back home and I go back to virtual network gateway. First of all, from 1 to virtual network VNG 1 to 3, in that direction I create the connection. So I go to VNG 1, and then from setting, then connection, I click on add for this connection. I give a name of this connection like connection from VNG1 to VNG3. Connection from VNG1 to VNG3, it's VNet to VNet connection. First virtual network was VNG1, and then second virtual network should be VNG3. So I pick up from that list, and the shared key, PSK, private shared key, I give it one special key for my purpose. It depends on your company policy, which key they're allowed to give here. Just for the demonstration purpose, I give my one. And then press OK. And then it will show this message notification that it is creating connection. And if we close it down and refresh, our connection name is also popping up here. Connection from VNG1 to VNG3 is status is updating. Connection type VNet to VNet and PR with VNG3. So let it work on the back. I go back on the other instance of this portal, and now I create another network connection, VNG network connection from VNG, from the direction VNG3 to VNG1. So for that reason, I need to go VNG3 again, and from the setting and the connection, I pick up the plus sign for that. Now I give it a name again. Connection from VNG3 to VNG1. G1, and it is also VNet to VNet, and the first virtual network is VNG3, and the second virtual network should be VNG1, and I give as the special PSK key as I wish. Okay, and then press OK. And it will also throw a notification message. If we click on there, it's showing that connection from VNG3 to VNG1 is ongoing. So I close the notification, and if I refresh, I can see that other connection name is also here. So there are two connection building session is going on. That is one from VNG1 to VNG3, and another one is VNG3 to VNG1. If I go back to the other instance of the portal, you can see that here on this side also we have two connection names. So it might take a couple of minutes to build the connection. Then we can start pinging with each other. So I have to click on refresh a couple of times to see what's going on or what's the situation. So after a couple of minutes later, when I refresh, I can see that VNG 3, there is two connection here. There are two connections and they are connected. The status is connected, and connection type is VNet to VNet, and it's paired with their respective virtual networks. If I go back to VNG1 and also refresh, and you can see that there are also two connections also established and between these two network, and that is VNet to VNet connection. Now I go back to the remote desktops. This one first. Let me see which one is this host. Host name. This is VM1. VM1 is running, and we need to find which one is VM5. VM5 is here. To make sure that I write down host name. It's showing that VM5 here. So we are trying to communicate in between VM1 and VM5. Now I ping to VM5, and VM5's IP is 192.168.1.4. So I minimize this and ping 192.168.1.4. When I ping, it's trying to send some echo packet and get it back from other end, but it's not working. So it means that it will not work on this side as well, even though I try to show you that it's not working at the moment. There is some issue. If I ping from this side, from VM3 to VM5 to VM1, it's also the request timeout message comes up. So there's some issue with the firewalls. So we have to turn off the firewall of this machine and then try to ping again. So to turn it off, like before, firewall.cpl on, and that will pop up here, and turn off Windows Defender, turn it off private and public for the both, and then OK, and do this. Now if I go back and ping, it's showing something, the same error message, because we have to turn off on this side as well. That's why you have to write firewall.cpl from VM1 and turn off the Windows Defender firewall, turn off, and then OK, and then go down and define the command prompt Now the ping command again. Now I'm pinging from VM1 to VM5 with command like ping space 192.168.1.4, and it shows that it sends 4 data packet and received 4 data packets and 0% data lost. So if I go back on VM5 and ping to VM1, it will work again. Yes, it works now. Now, if I go back to VM2, now I'm showing up VM2. Then if I write down host name, it should, okay. Host name, it shows that it is VM2. And if I ping 192.168.1.4, I can see that VM2 also can send packet to VM5. Now, if I go back to VM5 and ping 10.0.1.5, that is VM2, what will happen? Request timeout. Why this is happening? Because we didn't turn off the Windows Defender firewall for VM2. So I go back to VM2 and go back to its command prompt and again run firewall on this machine and turn off Windows Defender and turn off, and this turn off, and then okay. Now scroll down and then OK, and go back to the command prompt. And if I go back again to VM5 and its command prompt, now I'm going back VM5. Maybe put a little bit more. Okay. Now VM5 and ping to VM2. Now it can send the data packet and 0% lost. But before, it was not able to do that. You can see this just the same command within a fraction of time, and one is 100% data loss and another one is 0% data loss. So it means there's two subnets of VNet1, two virtual machine of subnet 1 can communicate to another machine of different subnet, and VNet, which is VNet 3 and subnet 4 in different region, can communicate with each other using virtual network gateways. So this is very straight away simple. So if we can try to do, if you close this VNet1 session and VM, all the sessions, I close this VM, all the VMs, and now freshly I try to communicate VM5 of subnet 3 and VM3 of subnet 2. Then what will happen? Following the if diagram, this VNet subnet 2, VM3 it belongs to VNet 1, and VM5, VNet 3 belongs to another region. So I go back to the homepage again and go back to the virtual machines. You can see the all status of the virtual machine. Right now, VM3 is not running. So I select this one and start this machine, accept this, and when it's go inside the VM3 again, copy its public IP and make a remote desktop connection with this one. When we go there, just paste this IP, connect, and it will ask for this username and password. It takes a little bit longer because this machine was not running. It was trying to locate that machine. Now we can track it. This VM3 user and this password. And trust this connection. It will show up VM3. Blue screen shortly it will come up. Yes. Now we get this VM3 command prompt with the remote desktop connection. To make sure this is remote 3 VM3, we just type host name on the command prompt, and you can see that the VM3 is also showing up here. And if I type IP config, we can see the configuration of this one, and with IP 10.0.2.4, which belongs to subnet 2 of VNet 1. Now we go back to home page, home and VM5, and copy the IP of VM5, run again the remote desktop connection, and asking for the username and password. It will come up with the command prompt, yes. And you can see if we type CLS, it will clear the screen. And host name, it will show that it's VM5. So VM3 and VF5 is running, They're running right now. Now from VM5, I am pinging VM5 from pinging 10.0.2.4. That is VM3's IP. It's request timeout. But if I go to VM3 and if I ping 192.168. One dot 4, it's showing that it is sending and receiving some packet, but not from VM 3. So there is some gap of communication. So I have to go back VM5, VM3 and run the firewall again. When I run the firewall of VM3 and turn off this Windows Defender, which is not recommended, but for this demonstration purpose, I can do that. And then press OK and go back to command prompt and ping again. Ping again to VM5. Now it works. And it works, and it will work on the other side as well. It will show that from VM5 and VM3 also responding with 0% data loss. So in this way, we can make sure that different subnet of same VNet can communicate with another subnet of another VNet in different region through virtual network gateway. Now, if I go back to the image once again, we have shown that VM1, VM2, VM3 can communicate with VM4, VM5 with the connection of VNG1 and VNG3. But if we need to communicate with VNG VM4, and if we think that we have a VNet pairing in between sub VNet 1 and VNet 2, so we can communicate from VM4 to VM5 through this VNet pairing and this VNG and VNG1 and VNG connection. We will thinking in a wrong way because it is not possible. So if we need to communicate in that situation, we have to create another virtual network gateway for VNet 2, and then we have to establish two connections both the way from VNG2 to VNG3, and then communicate from VM4 to VM5 or vice versa. So this process will take around 40 minutes to demonstrate, but I think we can do this VNG creation, that is VNG2 creation, and creating these connections between VNG2 and VNG3, and trying to sending echo packets from VM4 to VM5 or VM5 to VM4 in a similar fashion. If we have any issue with the sending and receiving the packet, we might take care of this Windows Defender firewall, and I hope it will work on your side. Let's try on other end by yourself. So I'm not demonstrating this part again and again because this video is a bit longer than other videos. So I think you have learned something. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.